Okay, yeah, sorry. Perfect.
Hi, everyone. My name's Morag. I'm from the Ecovillage Crystal Waters here in Australia. And I've been living here for, I don't know, 20 something years. And I was hoping to be able to weave in my daughter, who is one of the initiators of PermaYouth, in today's session. And she's really sick. So she sat with me and she actually designed this presentation, and I'm delivering it on her behalf. so that's where we are. So I'm just going to share my screen and make sure I've optimized for video clip, because let me see, slideshow. Start slideshow. Beautiful. So what I'm going to share with you is about the PermaYouth, and the PermaYouth's been going for a few years now, and I thought it might be a really nice thing to actually start with a song. And this is a song that Australian permaculture musician and practitioner, educator, someone who's deeply involved in permaculture education with schools and is really activating and enlivening young people all across Australia, and particularly too having a really strong focus up in Indigenous communities. This is Charlie McGee, and he's currently, while he's singing this song for the PermaYouth, he made particularly for the PermaYouth, he's based at Meliadora, David Holmgren's place, the co-founder of permaculture. So I'm just going to play this for you. It's just a couple of minutes.
G'day PermaYouth, I'm Charlie McGee, and I want to say congratulations for being part of the most important global movement I think the world has ever seen. Why? Because permaculture at this tumultuous juncture is a superstructure that can plug the puncture in our society of anxiety, confusion and greed. This really may be one solution we need to bring back our elementary essence of ethics. What can earth care, people care, fair share epic? Now's the time to embed it while the temperature's tepid. Let us rise as a choir beside the people who get it, to guarantee that our future generations' lives are provided the conditions they require to thrive, instead of being deprived of the tools to survive in a biosphere too defiled to revive. So we invite you now to amplify the synergy, devise and inspire your distinctive soliloquy, combining with like minds an adaptable symphony of radical simplicity, balance and symmetry. Whatever your ability, we need your assistance to aid in reclaiming our stable existence. So summon your gifts at this critical hour and deliver wherever they move and empower. The rooster agrees with me here at Meliadora, home of David Holmgren, who co-originated permaculture, and I hope to see you soon. Good on you, PermaYouth. You.
So Charlie McGee, if you haven't come across his work before, is a brilliant musician who, when he was learning permaculture, decided that he wanted to turn it into music so we could remember it. So he's got things like all the permaculture ethics in songs, and some great songs with video clips like My Dad's Dunny Doesn't Flush, like really great songs that help to get kids involved in it. And I remember going on lots of trips with homeschooler kids, all in the backseat going, My Dad's Dunny Doesn't Flush. It's like, they're so catchy. Anyway, and he grew up in this whole kind of permaculture world as well. Anyway, so let me just, oops.
G'day PermaYouth.
How do I move forward? Here we go. There we go. So what is PermaYouth? Essentially, PermaYouth is a global network of young people focusing on permaculture as their method of activism. It's basically designed, all the programs are designed by youth, for youth, but it's deeply intergenerational in its approach as well, and cross-cultural. So they originally were inspired by the climate activism, like all the Greta movement, the Fridays for Future, where there was lots of people out marching. Then they'd come home and say, well, what today? What do we do today? And so they got together and they started doing what they call practivism, positive practical activism. And so essentially what PermaYouth is a global learning community exploring how to apply permaculture thinking and practices and philosophy in all different contexts, wherever those groups may be. And so they've been involved in a whole lot of different programs, and a lot of the things that they've done to start with, to activate this whole thing, they created a whole series of hubs, and through this to brought together people in their festivals. So in the festivals, what they would do would invite someone who could inspire and bring in a different, like a perspective, like a wisdom holder. And they would bring in people from different cultures and places, bringing people with music or art or slam poetry, and together create this culture of permaculture that was emerging through this network. So essentially it really is a conversation space, a place where young people can come together to explore what matters. And a lot of them say, I don't have anyone near me that I can talk to this stuff about. Some of them have come out of, say, Crystal Waters, and there's this kind of group hub here that have really activated it. But the people they reach out and connect to have said that they felt alone. So now they don't. And this is a place that's a platform for young people around the world to connect and feel empowered, actually engage in kind of leadership training. And they do teach-ins, so they kind of teach each other. They say, oh, what would you like to learn about? Well, I'm really passionate about this, and I could do a presentation about how you do, like animals in permaculture. And someone else would say, I'm into sustainable fashion and I can teach you about that. And so they have these teach-ins. They set up their program. Originally, it started too when the young people who were doing my permaculture course, I asked them, so, I would invite anyone who's under 20 to come do my course for free. And I sort of checked in with them and said, how's it going? And they said, yeah, it's really great, but we'd really like to talk to other young people. So I kind of put out an invitation wider too and helped to bring some people in to start with. And they decided, instead of following a program or a curriculum that's been set out by a permaculture course, they would teach themselves in a way that they wanted to. And I've been totally inspired by the way that they've approached learning about permaculture through following their instincts. And any of you who have been homeschooling parents will kind of get that that's where the main learning happens, when you follow your curiosity and your passion and you're drawn into the excitement that they're all, and when someone's excited about something, everyone's excited about it. And it's just so great. So as well as having their own teach-ins, they're just like rapidly sharing everything that they've got through podcasts, through radio, through YouTube, through newsletters, through whatever opportunity they have to speak. If someone invites them to speak, they'll just say, yep, sure. It's like, I would have never have done that when I was like 13 or 14. I would have been like, oh no, I couldn't possibly. So, it's fantastic to see what they're doing. And they, before COVID lockdowns and everything, they were also organizing camps, which was a brilliant way for them to connect. And they would invite like a local Indigenous elder and people from all around the space to come together. And we hope that will reemerge again. But it is an emergent process. And I think that's so fabulous about this. And what they talk about is this myceliating practivism. It's this connective thread that just ripples out and finds its strength in that process. So basically, Maya wanted me to let you know that, they really are looking at the whole systems. Like Maya has been part of doing Gen training with the cards. She's done SDG training. They all together are learning with Fritjof Capra and systems thinking. They're learning with Nora Bates and in Warm Data. They're learning with me permaculture. They've been involved in the Gen programs with the Regen Nations. And so this whole systems approach, this systems thinking approach, is really informing a lot of how they approach things. And deeply embedded in this concept of it being a supportive, friendly and fair approach where it's nourishing diversity. So there's all different cultures and genders and interests, they all just coming together, and it's a beautiful thing to be part of. At the start, they lent on me more, and I gradually just eased my way out. And sometimes I have to ask if I can come along to their sessions. Can I come today? It's so inspiring to be around them. And they're really in this sort of non-hierarchical approach of just finding their way and empowering all of them to become leaders in their own way. And I think that's really exciting. And asking if they need help. So for example, we're recently talking with Luby McNamara to help them to learn more about cultural emergence and sociocracy. There's a huge approach in looking at the cultural aspect. And this is where I think the strength of PermaYouth is, that they're really focused on the culture of permaculture through their music, through their art, photography. They've created a photographic exhibition with global photographs. They help train people in photography, and then they had an exhibition of that. They're doing recipes and exploring plants and methodologies together, what books they can find, and sharing celebrations. And the music has been something that really started with the festivals. And each time, this group down the bottom, the ambassador crew, they started making a song for each one. And now they've actually got to the point where they have received funding from the Grateful Dead's Foundation to build a solar-powered mud brick, water collecting, garden surrounded music studio in the middle of a refugee settlement in Kakuma in Kenya. And this is now inspiring other groups to form. And this is one I'll just share you with you a little bit, because I know we're pushed for time, but this is one of the other songs that they have started to sing. And this woman in the middle here, Roland, she is one of the leaders of the Ugandan PermaYouth.
Maji machafu tusinywe tena, misitu tusiende tena. PermaCulture imeleta njia fupi kwa kurahisisha maisha, kama vile kutengeneza makala na mengi tumeyajua. PermaCulture imetufundisha tukipanda mboga tusiweke kemikali, afya zetu ziwe sawa.
So what they're doing is they're singing permaculture, what they're learning in the courses. So they're filming what they're doing in a PDC in the village, and then sharing that through song and sing it in language. And they sing many languages because in the camps there's so many different. So they have a YouTube channel that they're sharing all of that with. And we're actually working with Permaculture UK to try and create a PermaYouth album at the moment, which I think is super exciting. And then, of course, the ecological dimensions. I mean, being permaculture, it's very much about the soil, regenerating the soil, and focusing on how to generate like this one planet way of life, and this deeply practical regenerative rewilding, forest gardening, tree planting in the commons. My ears picked up when Noemi was talking about her forest program. So, you know, they're trying to transform the camps in the refugee settlements out in communities in Australia. They're doing tree planting programs together. And so this sense that they're together as a whole working to regenerate the planet in this everyday activism is a really important part of what they're doing. And I just wanted to also mention too that they have a really deeply local economy approach too, and everything is free. So the whole thing runs on the gift economy. People come in as mentors, offering their gifts for free. They do fundraising to support the programs that are happening in the refugee club. So this is one of the older sisters of one of the original members of PermaYouth, Billy, who is disabled, but she loves to crochet. So she would make these beautiful crocheted blankets and then raffle them off, and we would raise money with that and for many other different things. Our festivals, I think the festivals were all free, but in terms of running them, we raised $4,000, which was sent over. And over that, with other fundraising we've done, we've been able to support 1,500 refugee youth to get permaculture training, locally adapted permaculture training. But the training is happening everywhere, and really helped to offer different sort of opportunities to during lockdown. So that's an exciting part. And what it means is that we didn't want to have like a sliding scale either. It's just like everyone's welcome, everyone's open and invited into this. And we'll find other ways to fund it. And that's what we've done. Sorry, I'm just trying to work out how to go. So Maya wanted me to let you know about her email. So that's permacultureyouth@gmail.com, and she welcomes people to get in touch. They have an Instagram, global.permayouth. Their podcast is found on Spotify at PermaYouth Podcast. They have a website, permayouth.org, and all of the donations that come to support this program go through our sister organisation, which is the Ethos Foundation, and we send 100% of donations directly to the local leaders who are the hub leaders in each of the different places. And thank you Thank you very much.
Wonderful. Thanks, Morag. Just let you unshare your screen there. Yeah. That's wonderful, really inspiring, and we'll share all the links with everyone to follow up and stay connected. And then maybe I'll just invite everyone to hold your questions till the end so that we'll have a round for everyone. But yeah, thank you so much, Morag. I'm going to just stop the recording.